What's up, guys? My name is Jesse and welcome back to the channel where I share productivity and self-improvement tips and help you explore your curiosity. All right, so today I'm going to be sharing how running has changed my life this year. So let's go ahead and dive in. So here are the topics I'm going to be covering today throughout the video. We're going to first start off with my running history. So what is the history behind my running journey? And of course, how I did competitively this year. So this year I joined races, and of course I completed three races that I joined, which I'll elaborate a little bit more. What I learned about running this year. So what running has actually taught me in 2023, and how does running make me feel, right? How does it make me feel either pre or post run, which I'll share once we get there. And of course, lastly, the closing statement, all right, which again I'll elaborate at the end of the video. Now, I like to show my audience the topics that I'm going to be covering. I'm not sure if it's the teacher in me, but I always like to show my audience or students where I'm going to take this video. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the first topic, which is my running. It all start, right? So if you've been following me for quite a while, I mentioned before that running actually came naturally to me, right? So I used to play soccer, or if you want to call it football, however you want to call it, but the sport is soccer. I played for many years. I actually started, I want to say around 11 years old. Of course, I participated in school teams all the way from primary all the way into my high school career. Of course, I also did club teams, and the last team I actually played with was with my college team, which I only played my freshman year. So, how does soccer actually tie into running? Which, those of you that play soccer before, is a sport that requires a lot of physical strength and endurance, right? So it requires for you to keep moving around, for you to sprint, for you to, jump, get the ball, use your body to get the advantage from the opponent. But, it takes tremendous physical strength and of course endurance. So, which ties in perfectly to my endurance running now. All right, so before this year I actually used to run about 2 to 3 miles at most, depending on my schedule for the week. I will try to at least run twice a week at most. Of course my miles were pretty slow at the time. I think at the time I was ranging around 10 to about 10:30 per mile, which it's a bit slow, but I mean it's something that when I started with. And running has always been my favorite form of exercise, right? So it's very cost efficient. Well, 2 reasons. And again, it's very cost efficient, doesn't require any membership. All you need is a good pair of running shoes and you're good to go, right? Just to start off at least. And 2, you could do it anywhere, right? So running literally could take place anywhere. It could take place at your local parks, in your neighborhood, schools. So there's some schools here in Houston where they have sidewalks for you, for people in the community to use sidewalks, schools or even libraries. For me, I actually ran in all those 3 locations, parks, neighborhoods, around my neighborhood, schools and libraries. So this year in 2023, I decided to bump it tremendously. So I actually started to really focus on the art and skill of running, right? Which I learned a lot, which I will share later in this video. And to this point, I actually really enjoy it, right? I want to keep improving. My goal is to at least hit 7:45 to 8:30 per mile, which we're almost there, but we'll keep working on that. And my goal for next year at least to run at least 3 marathons. I haven't not did a marathon yet. But we'll see what happens next year, and we'll see where this takes me, right? So after the marathons, who knows what is the next challenge after that. But for now, the goal is to do some marathon work. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the second topic. All right, so running competitively this year, so some of the races I did. So I completed three races this year. One in February, which was the 5K, which was my very first race. One in May, which was the 10K, and then October, which is my last race, it was a half marathon. All right, so I'm gonna try to break down my experiences of race day and some of the things I've learned along the way. So first of all, for race day, or prior to race day, you have to figure out the ins and outs of how the race is going to work, right? You gotta as such as getting to the location on time, planning everything accordingly. Parking, which is the most crucial one, which I learned by now. Adding time to hydrate and stretch, and identifying the start and finish line. All right, so here's a quick story on the importance of planning ahead, right? So for my 10K, I completely miscalculated how much time it would take for us to find parking, right? So I believe the race started about 7:30 and got to the location around 7 a.m. All right, it took me about at least 15 minutes to find parking, which, if you've been to on race day, it's pretty hectic. There's traffic. They have streets closed off, so it gets a little bit crazy. So it took me a while to find parking. By the time we found a parking spot, and then walked to see where everybody's lining up for the start line, I only had about 5 or 6 minutes to stretch, which it was a very big mistake. And of course, these races actually start on time. All right, my first race, which it was the rodeo run, they did not start on time. I think the race was set to start at 7:30. They didn't start until about 7:50, around there. But again, I miscalculated this race. They started right at the dot. So as soon as I stretched for about 5 or 6 minutes, I didn't waste any time and then just joined the race. Now I know that, of course, the chip and the number they give you, it has a chip in it to track the miles and everything along the way in your race, your pace and all that stuff, which at the time I didn't know that it doesn't start until you pass up the start line, right? Which eventually I found that out, but again, I was just learning. But also, I didn't want to take so long, right? So your mind shifts, like, oh, the race already started, so let's go ahead and join the race. So that's what I did. I didn't want to be left behind, and I went ahead and did the race either way, which completed in a good time. But man, it was hard at the time. It was hard. Another one is race day nerves. So the night before, it was time. It was probably not so much my half marathon, but definitely the first one and the second one. I find it really difficult to sleep before, right? I'm constantly thinking about the race. Of course, on race day, there are all kinds of emotions going on. I was stepping into the unknown, right? I didn't know if I was going to complete the race. I didn't know how long it was going to take me. What are some things that I'm going to be doing or problem solving along the way, which, again, kind of scares most people, which it scared me. But I was willing to take the risk anyways. I wanted to take in the moment and be like, whatever happens, if I don't complete it, I just want to let myself know that I at least tried. Right? And if I didn't try, how would I know, right? Also, for me, the most unbelievable moment every single time is crossing that finish line in every race. Of course, again, I started with a 3-miler, which is the 5K. That one I finished pretty quick, but again, that crossing that finish line it's the most unbelievable moment. Especially, of course, seeing my fiance on the end of the finish line waiting for me in every race. all those fatigue and breathless moments, you know, during my races, you know, especially for my half marathon, because man, and if my half marathon was, of course, the toughest race I've done by far. If you want to know my experience on that, check out the video. But all the fatigue and breathless moments along the way, you know, whatever I gone through in that race all goes away as soon as I cross that finish line. All right, so every time I cross that finish line, I felt like I accomplished something extremely difficult, right? You know, receiving that medal, you know, everybody, you know, cheering you on, and of course your loved ones. Of course, it's the most satisfying moment every single time. So hopefully I get to have that same feeling in my upcoming races. Also, aside from that, of course, the post-race celebration. All right, I enjoyed the post-race celebration because, of course, once you finish, there's a whole bunch of tents with, you know, giving out free food, snacks, drinks, whatever the case may be. The music going on, you know, you see the other runners coming in, having their finisher medal as well. So everybody socializing, having a good time, which is pretty fun. Again, I hope to continue to experience that as well. And of course, just, you know, taking in the moment, embracing my achievement. You know, again, going back to that half marathon, because that's, of course, that's the most toughest and the most recent one I did, but it was the most satisfying for me, right? Having that medal. Of course, you're hurt, you know, your muscles are hurting, you know, you are tired, but it all goes away. It all goes away, you know, because, well, not that it goes away, you know, it doesn't go away right away at the moment, but you're not thinking about it so much because, you know, you're just taking in the moment. All right, so yep, that's it for you know, my race this year, or my races this year. Let's go ahead and talk about what I learned about running this year. All right, so first thing is first, the major thing that I actually learned about running is breathing. Breathing through your nose is the most important thing to do as a runner, right? At first, I hated this. I really hated it because, you know, I'm naturally, you know, right now, I have sort of a slightly fracture in my nose, but I like to breathe throughout the mouth, right? Because it's much easier. But recently, or as I decided to join running this year, I really try to focus on breathing on my nose, breathing out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose. Now, I don't like it because it feels like you're getting suffocated, but it's really helped me, especially on those longer runs. Another thing that I've learned is building a foundation has really helped my running goals, right? That creating that foundation. So for me, once I started getting into the rhythm of running, what I did is I created a schedule where I have to run 3 days a week, right? The first, I like to start with the easy run, anywhere from about 3 to 4 miles, which is at the beginning of the week. Then sometimes somewhere in the middle of the week, I like to do my speed run. And again, it's 3 to 4 miles, the most being 4 or 5, depending on what I'm preparing for, but at most it's at least 3 or 4 miles. And all I'm doing is working on the speed, right? And for my last and third run of the week, which typically is on Saturdays, those are my longer runs. So I like to run anywhere from about 7 miles and beyond. But again, it all goes back to building that foundation, which for me has really helped really master my running goals. Building that foundation is what I learned. Aside from that, you know, running as a runner, I actually try to implement 2 days of strength training. Now I'm a little off on that because now I try to do it at least once, but I'm off of that because I did have a gym membership, but because of my current situation with, you know, being unemployed right now, I don't have a gym membership. But that has not stopped me. I do, you know, calisthenics, you know, body workouts. So, you know, I've learned that doing single leg workouts has helped strengthen my legs, right? You know, throughout my running journey, I've learned that running is pretty much, well, it is a single leg sport, which requires your body, you're pretty much shifting to one leg at a time as you're running, right? Which again, before you know, this journey of me running consistently this year, I did not know that. I just thought that, you know, running, it was just running, right? Moving your body. But you know, it's actually a single leg sport where you're shifting your whole weight to one side as you're running. So if you can see here in the picture, you know, you're shifting that weight constantly as you're running. So strengthening your legs is the most important thing to do, especially incorporating those single leg workouts. Also, I've learned that having a strong core, so you know, having a strong core actually allows for injury prevention, which, you know, I'm still trying to work on the core, but I'm trying to work as much as I can on the core. You know, I've learned that it helps you become a better runner, of course, and of course it helps you know, last longer, right, as a runner. So you know, that's what I've learned with not only building the foundation but also incorporating that strength training. All right, another thing I've learned this year is also fueling and hydration properly is critical, right? Because, you know, especially during a race, you know, in my last race, like I said, you know, I had gels, I had small snacks with me, and tons of water throughout my race. So, you know, through my running journey this year, I've learned that drinking electrolytes, it's a runner's best friend. You know, whether it's Gatorade or electrolyte powder, or even the gels. You know, for me, my key hydration drinks are, of course, coconut water, which I really enjoyed this year. Coconut water has helped me really replenish those electrolytes, and the gels, which, guys, before this, I had no clue what were electrolyte gels. You know, there's a whole bunch of brands out there. I forgot what brand I'm using, but I had no idea what they were. I just thought that, you know, that was kind of crazy for, you know, anybody to drink or take in gels while you run. But it's been crucial for my running journey. Again, I don't know the brand name, but I'll post it here in the video so you can see. You know, with electrolytes, it really helps you avoid any muscle cramps and fatigue, which again, I've learned that, you know, really hydrating yourself is the most important thing as a runner. And of course, it keeps your body well regulated throughout your race, or throughout your run, I should say, whatever your goals are. You know, as a runner, of course, you burn a lot of calories, right? So that's another thing I learned about running this year, which I knew about it before, but this time, as you can see my before and after picture, which again, I'll post in the video, you can see that I burned a ton of calories this year. And of course, I kind of slimmed down a little bit, as you could tell in my body composition. But, you know, really replacing those calories after you finish is important, right? So the most calories I've burnt in one single run is about 2,000 calories, almost 2,000 calories. It seems crazy, but it can happen as a runner. You know, you always have to, after every run, you have to really replace those calories that you burn, right? And that's something I'm still learning this year. Well, not only this year, but throughout my running journey, I'm still learning. You know, what meals to properly eat. You know, what is the best thing to do after you run. Something I'm still trying to figure out. And again, I'm no expert at running or in this field of runners. I'm not no expert, but you know, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to research. But what I've done in the past is usually when I run 20-30 minutes out, I try to have a small nutritious bar as soon as possible, and then have a whole meal, which whatever the whole meal may be. Typically for me, it's always that first meal for me is always breakfast, which are, you know, eggs, some kind of small side of cucumbers, you know, pinto beans, whatever the case may be for my meal that day. I always try to have a big meal right after my runs. All right. And so another thing I've learned as a runner this year is the key items as a runner are the most important is your running shoes. All right. So this year, I think I mentioned it before in my videos. Not too quite sure, but I actually went to FitFi, which is it's a shoe company that actually measures your feet. Right, so what they do is actually measure your feet until they recommend the type of shoes that you should be using as a runner. So I went, they measured my feet, and actually it turns out that the way my feet are, I'm actually I have to wear stability shoes, right, which are those more thicker shoes from the soles at the bottom. And you know, it has really changed my game. So, you know, I was wearing the wrong shoes before that, and there's nothing to discriminate the brand I was wearing before, because I love the brand, which is Nike. I love Nike. I still wear Nike shirts and all that stuff. But as a runner, I was running with Nikes, and they were always seemed to hurt my ankles for some reason, right? So, you know, I knew I had to be the shoe, but I wasn't quite too sure until I actually went to FitFi, and they told me, you know, you actually have to wear stability shoes. And ever since then, it's been good. You know, my ankles haven't hurt ever since then, and I really could focus on you know, other abilities for the run. So yeah, so having the right running shoes is always important as a runner. The other item I recommend, or the other item that I learned as a runner, should have, and you don't have to have it, but it is a plus for me, is a watch, right? And the reason I say watch is because having a watch, and for me, I have an Apple Watch, which I don't know what type of Apple Watch it is, but for me, I like to every time look at my wrist and see the miles I've completed, the distance I've run, the time. Plus, I hate carrying anything. So before my watch, I used to have my phone, and that's where I used to track my miles. But I like to be hands-free. Right? I like to be hands-free. The only thing I like to have on my wrist is the watch. Now, you don't need a watch to get started, but it's always a great item to have as a runner. All right. And of course, the last and the most important thing that I've learned as a runner is the recovery stage. All right. Recovery is everything. So for me, for recovery, I like to do multiple things. I do like to foam row. I use the chirp wheel to foam row the muscles, you know, all those tight muscles. I do get a lot of tight muscles, especially on my left leg. You know, I get massages, so I have a small massage gun. Also, stability workouts. So any stability workouts that, you know, I find on YouTube, I try to do them. You know, that really has helped me with my joints. And taking cold showers, which cold showers, hopefully I can make another video on that. Cold showers have been a game changer for me, but I'm still learning how it works, right? But I know that it has a whole bunch of positive effects. And of course, I'm no expert again, but I usually like to get my information from a couple of experts, you know, like Huberman, Gary Brecka, which I will mention later in the video, maybe create another video elaborating on those benefits. But again, cold showers and recovery have been a game changer for me as a runner. All right. So how does running make me feel? So during my runs, it helps me clear my mind. No matter what's going on in my life, whether it's positive, negative, whatever's going on, it doesn't really matter at the moment. All I'm focused on is completing that run. So my mind is just really, really shifted in. All right, let's complete this run. Let's try to control your breath. Try to do a faster time than you did last time. Again, all I'm focusing at the moment is complete the run. All right. It also helps me with building my creativity, right? So I feel like during my runs, I feel like I'm the most creative at that moment, because you're running and all your mind does is just wanders off, at least mine does, right? My mind goes in all different directions, but that's where I find my most creativity at. So during the runs, I think of new video content, business ideas, just random things, books that I've read, conversations I had with my fiance, whatever the case may be. It's just my mind is just going in all different directions, which I really enjoy. And after my runs, after I complete them, I feel some kind of sense of accomplishment, right? That's the first thing I like to do in the morning. Start with the hardest thing to do in the moment, which is running, and I feel accomplished after I finished it. I did something difficult before getting my day started, right? Which it brings me fulfillment. If those of you that listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, Joe does a good job of emphasizing this, right? For us to find something difficult to do, whether it's running, swimming, working out, doing something physically difficult will make regular life much less difficult. All right, so if you see the video, hopefully I'll see if I can post it here in the video. If not, you'll catch it in the description below. Lastly, with how running makes me feel, it helps me set short and long-term goals. Whether it's personal goals, whether it's my couple goals, marriage goals, whatever the case may be, it helps me set those goals up and work towards those goals. All right, so that's how running makes me feel. All right, guys, so that's it. That's how running has changed my life this year in 2023. So before I end the video, just my final thoughts. So I really encourage everybody to step into the unknown and take risk, right? And what I mean by step in the unknown is something that gets you scared or gets you nervous to do. Just do it, guys. Just do it. You never know what's on the other side. Again, for me, I was really scared to do this half marathon that I did 2 months ago, back in October. I was really scared. Didn't know if I was gonna complete it. Did not know if I was gonna finish on time or if I was gonna ever finish. But I took the risk anyway, and guess what? I finished it. Wasn't really too happy with my time, but I finished it, right? So again, just step into the unknown. You never know what might happen, all right? And also, as I mentioned before in my other videos, let's be more curious, right? Try to be more curious about things, whether it's something that you're curious about online, something that you saw, some health benefits, I don't know, some study that's going on, or something that you're really interested in. Be curious about it and do some research on it, and you never know, you might enjoy it, or you might find things that you never known before. And of course, taking action, guys, that's the most important one that I really want to focus on. Taking action is everything. Try to take action on whatever is going on in your life. Everything will fall into place. All right. Keep challenging yourself no matter what. Commit to those new goals. Keep pushing yourself. And the most important thing before I leave is stop comparing yourself to others, right? And I tend to do that sometimes, guys. On social media, it's kind of hard, not to compare yourself to others, because there's so many things going on. You see your friends, either accomplishing new goals or this and that, but stop comparing yourself to others, because everybody's working at their own pace, and you are doing the right thing. All right, that's what I tell myself every single time, that I'm doing the right thing, and and I know that I'm gonna accomplish all my dreams and goals. All right, so I'll leave you with that one, guys. That is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe at the bottom. Comment below if you have any advice, any suggestions out there for anybody or for myself. Go ahead and leave them at the comment section below. I see y'all on the next video.